He now covers the Broncos. We've talked about basketball. We've talked about baseball and the Rockies. And now I have 5 questions for you. And I did this to you the last time you were on, if you remember correctly.
One time you did like 18 questions. We
no,
went through
I
the
did
roster.
5 questions. It's always 5. Can Chris Harris be any better this year than he was last year? He was, by some reports and some accountings and some analysts, he was the best quarterback in the league. Can he be in that category? Is he going to be another Pro Bowler? Is he the captain of the team? Those are 3 questions within that framework.
He is a Pro Bowler. He is that good. Can he be better than last year? He didn't give up a pass last year over 22 yards, and he didn't allow a touchdown. So I don't know that that's repeatable. I mean, when you think about it, you fall down, you slip, you get beat. So he'll have a similar year, but to have years where you don't allow a single touchdown pass, I think that's a little much to ask.
In Wade Phillips' philosophy, do you think that he's going to be Harris Island?
I do. That's a great question. And Talib. Talib, the issue with him is he's streaky. When he's good, he's great. And he intercepts and he makes big plays. When he has a bad game, whether it was T.Y. Hilton in the playoffs, he had a couple other ones, he's a little streaky. So when you leave him on man, it's a little different than Harris. Harris is very predictable in his performance. Talib, there's a little bit of this up and roller coaster ride that you're going to have to live with him getting burned a few times. But he also may have like last year, he had a couple pick 6. I mean, he's that guy. He's looking for the big play.
Harris had 3 interceptions last year. I would expect a couple or 3 more simply because I think the Broncos are going to put more pressure on the quarterback.
I agree.
And he's also a year older, and he's moving into his prime.
And his knee's fully healthy. Last year, he admitted his knee wasn't fully healthy.
I would just say I think teams going to avoid him, though. They're going to say, that's the guy we don't want to throw to. I mean, he's going to be that guy on this team. Ben Garland, number 2. Ben Garland, former defensive player. He was a defensive player, switched back and forth. Is he an NFL starter, and what would make him special enough to be an NFL starter? Because I have a strong opinion about this.
Had they stayed in the previous offensive scheme, I'd say no. It didn't fit him. This new scheme with the zone blocking, they need mobile guys who can get to the next level, who think quickly, combo block. It fits his profile and how his mind works. It fits him physically. So he's still raw. And I've talked to people that have worked with him. Nobody works harder. He's the first guy in, first guy out. He's every cliche imaginable in terms of character, work ethic. But it wasn't. I don't think he would have started in the previous scheme. In this new scheme, I do think he's going to start. Well, whether he's able to keep the job throughout the year, that's another question.
When camp opens 1 month from today,
he starts.
Where is he on the depth chart?
He's
ahead
starting.
of Shelley Smith?
He's starting. He's starting right now. Yes.
Ahead of Shelley Smith?
Yes. There will be competition at that position. Ty Sombralo, outside of a terrible camp, will be the season opener starter at left tackle.
And then
Garland's
you could have
scary.
You could have 2 guys on the left side that have never started a game in the NFL. One a rookie, one who's basically a rookie.
Yeah.
Because he was suited up like once or twice last year.
I think 3 games last year.
That's the scariest part of this team, guys.
And see, I agree with you. Well, but see,
Peyton Manning is sack-proof, so it's different. He just can't get hit, though. He's not going to get sacked a bunch of times. That's a misnomer. But if he's getting hit around his knees and ankles, as you guys both know, he's not going to make it through the season.
Yeah.
You said the greatest thing about Ben Garland. 2, intelligent. You can't go to the Air Force Academy and be there and be a pilot without being intelligent. Air Force Academy, and even though he played on the defensive side of the ball, Air Force Academy, the reason why they could run all those years, run effectively, is those guys were really smart. They knew exactly what to do. Smart guy. And works harder than anybody. I mean, during the offseason, he goes and plays for another team, the United States Air Force. I mean, he's
National Guard now.
He's a work ethic guy. So I think he's going to be really a good offensive guard within that framework because what you said. This system demands smart guys who are mobile. That fits him.
Quick story on that. Kubiak said that he's never been at the facility at 5:15 and not seen Garland there, meaning Garland's beating him to the facility. So I asked Garland, what are you doing at 5 a.m.? Not being sarcastic, but I mean, what are you doing at 5 a.m.? He's watching the video of the previous practice and refreshing his mind so he can go out and improve that day. That's what he said. That's the kind of guy you want on your line in this zone blocking scheme.
Since he's been picked up by the Broncos, we haven't heard a word about Stewart. I mean,
Darian Stewart.
He's just there. I mean, is he? I mean, I assume he is the starter, but is this guy any good?
Have they upgraded from Raheem Moore at free safety?
he's a different type of free safety. So I don't want to say that yet, because Raheem Moore, what they asked him to do to play center field outside of one horrible night against Baltimore, was pretty good at what he did. He directed traffic. He was kind of the center fielder that's not going to dive and make a crazy play, but he's going to do a lot of smart things, but he wasn't a great tackler. He's not physical. Darian Stewart is basically a strong safety playing free safety. He hits more like TJ Ward. He's physical. If he can stay healthy with his legs, which he's had some leg issues in the past that he insists are behind him, he brings a physical presence from that position that we're not used to, where you could have a combo with Ward and Stewart as two of the hardest thumping safeties in the league. Is he the guy? Can he be all the? I don't know yet, because I need to see how the scheme works with Wade Phillips. But he's physical. He's different than Moore.
I get the physical. Can he play center field?
Well,
they're not going to ask him to.
That's my same question. Is
they're not going to ask him to play.
You got to have a center fielder on their team.
They're not going to ask him to play the position like Moore did. They're not going to ask him. He's going to be more moving around. You're going to see TJ slip back rather than TJ play linebacker in the box. You're going to see more. You're going to see Stewart and Ward work off each other more as safeties rather than TJ Ward spending half his time as a linebacker.
Yeah, and which he didn't like.
No, he didn't like, because he's undersized at linebacker.
Yeah. Next question. Shane Ray said in the last couple of 3 weeks during the minicamp that he. And I don't want to post it as if it was a egotistical kind of statement, that his goal, or he wants to be or thinks he can be, the defensive rookie of the year. Does he have that chance, given that he still can't even really practice very well? He's not going to get on the field for every play. Are we saying too much about him, given that he can't be Von Miller when Von Miller was a rookie, or can he be?
No, because you said as long as DeMarcus Ware and Miller are healthy, he's not going to get enough snaps. But could he have a very productive season of 8-9 sacks? And so sacks per play be very, very efficient? I think yes. And they're talking about putting the three of them on the field at the same time, Woody, which would be fascinating.
That'll be fun.
Where you don't know where the pressure's coming from, and somebody's going to come free. But they got to get Ray healthy. As much as I like the Ray pick, I know the risk, but there's such a high reward. And typically, when you take late in the first round, you're not getting a guy that's great. This guy was a top 10 talent with first step quickness. And let's be honest, he's probably DeMarcus Ware's replacement after this season.
Sure.
There's no certainty that DeMarcus is going to play out the contract. But Ware, to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, he's going to have to get lucky, because he's going to have fewer opportunities. So he's going to have to get a few sacks. You know, one of those, did he get a sack? Was it a half sack? But could he get 8 sacks as a rookie in limited time? That would be fantastic. I think the Broncos would take that.
Someone wrote me and said, "Oh, you guys all think Shane Ray's so great. This is not a Denver guy." He said he played behind Michael Sam as a junior.
Michael Sam was a great player in college.
Yeah, Michael Sam was a great player.
But that was his. He said, "Where's Michael Sam now?" Well, he's back in Canada playing it. My last question to you. This is interesting. It's something we'll think about and deal with all season long. If you had the over/under 50 plays for Brock Osweiler this season, he's never had 50 plays in a season.
Right.
I'm taking the. Do you want me to go first?
I'm taking the over, because I think Peyton's going to miss at least one game to injury. So I'm taking the over.
Really?
Just because of a nick, not a serious injury. But
I'm going to say over, but not because of that. I'm going to say over because I think, unlike under John Fox, they will have the lead in the fourth quarter at times, and they will pull Peyton Manning to get him out and give Brock some meaningful snaps. And I mean, you're playing Oakland twice. You got Cleveland. I can see him playing over 50 snaps simply because they want to get him in the game and get Peyton out.
Okay, my second question. Okay, over/under on 100. If he played one full game, that'd be 70.
I'd say under on 100.
Yeah, I'll say under too.
So somewhere between
50 and 100.
50 and 100.
Yeah, but if Peyton gets hurt like you think,
I think it's like
60 snaps in one game.
Right, but that's why, and then he maybe gets 20 the rest of the season. Peyton doesn't come out ever. I mean,
I think their intent is to pull him.
But they're not going to be leading by 3 touchdowns.
He wouldn't come off the field. Brock was ready to go in.
Coaching staff.
I don't see him leading by 3 touchdowns a lot like they were this previous offense.
Probably not.
I don't see him being up 35-10 going into a lot of fourth quarters like they were with that old offense.
It looks like a tougher schedule.
And I would guess also, and I had one other question for you guys while we're in the middle of it, that they are not going to be able to rest Peyton at the end of the year. I think that San Diego game is going to be important at the end of the year.
Correct.
And the beat writers for ESPN who cover the Bill Williamson, Jeff Legwold,
right,
who both worked here, have said that the Chargers are the opponent for the Denver Broncos. Others are saying the Chiefs. John Clayton is putting the Chiefs in the playoffs and stuff like that. Who is going to be, in a few words, who's going to be the team that the Broncos have to fight off?
I think it's the Chargers, because Melvin Gordon, I believe, has got a chance to be really good. Every time the Broncos have played the Chargers the last few years, Ryan Matthews has been hurt. Now you get a legitimate running back who I think has a chance to be a Rookie of the Year candidate. And Phillip Rivers is really good. Let's be honest. He's really good. Keenan Allen's really good. I like the Chargers. I just don't trust the Chiefs' offense, Woody. Who's going to score touchdowns? Jeremy Maclin. He's a complimentary receiver. Alex Smith is captain checkdown. They're not going to score a lot of points. And he reads a great coach.
Boy, you just threw a fastball right into his
piece
wheelhouse.
Of raw meat for me, laying right there.
Alex Smith.
Same thing. I mean, same thing. San Diego is the better quarterback. Alex Smith is what Troy just said he is. Can't go downfield. And I don't care that they signed Jeremy Maclin. He's a little better than what they've had there, but one wide receiver is not going to make that much of a difference for that team. And Alex Smith still can't throw the ball well downfield. Well, Phillip Rivers, I like the Melvin Gordon pickup, take some pressure off Phillip Rivers. The one thing about San Diego, though, they're not strong on the offensive line.
No.
And they're not particularly strong in the pass rush either.
They get one of their linebackers back, though, that missed all last season.
Irvin?
Yeah.
And if you're gonna beat the Broncos, you've got to put pressure on Peyton Manning. So I still think San Diego is going to be the team that puts the most pressure on the Broncos, simply because I'm not a big fan of Alex Smith. Oakland is actually going to be improved, but they're still fourth on the list.
I would say two things. I still think it's going to come down to last game, whether there's going to be some meaning in that last game. And the one thing you left out, San Diego, whoever's ever been the coach there, it's soft. It reminds me of the city. San Diego's a soft city. And I think the team is always soft. And Mike McCoy hadn't changed that personality of the Chargers.
That's where Gordon's huge. That's where Gordon is huge. If he's the player I think he is, that changes the mentality of that team, because now you can pound the rock a little bit.
That NFL update sponsored by the Fantasy Sports Combine. It's coming up. If you haven't made your plane reservations yet or bought a ticket to this thing and you like to play fantasy football, you've got to do that right now at FantasySportsCombine.com. It's coming up July 17th to the 19th in Las Vegas at the Wynn, and there will be some pretty high-profile names there who are helping you understand who you should be drafting for your fantasy team. Guys like Woody Paige, guys like Matthew Berry of ESPN, Adam Schefter, Mike Shanahan, Mike Ditka, Brandon Stokely. A lot of ex-players are going to be there helping you get an edge for your fantasy football team. So again, get your tickets today at FantasySportsCombine.com.